the Cliff Yates channel. We are going live here, vertical mode, as always. Why? Well, I like to do it in the car because I know I connect with people who aren't already subscribed to the channel. Listen, I'm on a road trip, everybody. I'll wait for you thousands of people to click in here. End up north to my private island, but first I go to my mom's house in upstate New York. And so let me make sure I got everything. Yep, we're all good. Got everything, and I am 6.5 hours in today. Started just after 12 noon, everybody. I'm taking my time on this road trip. I'm going to take 3 stay overnight tonight, obviously. Stay overnight tomorrow night, and a day. It's about an 18, 19-hour drive just south of Rochester, New York. All right, everybody, I'm glad you're here. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you are in the right place. All things personal growth, self-improvement, how we can get better today in every way than we were yesterday. And we're going to get back on the I-95. And so we're traveling. We're into Georgia. But we should have been a lot farther. We're only 250 miles into this trip after 6 hours. Wow. And I'll tell you why that is. Between Jacksonville and St. Augustine, all of a sudden, all lanes were stopped. And I mean stopped. And then it was 30 minutes, 40 minutes, stopped. And then we inched along for about a mile. And I mean 2-3 miles an hour. Then stopped 1 hour. Then we went a couple miles at 3 or 4 miles an hour. So an hour, but basically an hour and 45 minutes later, it was cleared up. And it was not an accident. I was able to look online, and St. John's County Sheriff posted that they had some kind of armed suspect deal going on. And so they shut both lanes of traffic down. So I lost probably 100 miles. I probably lost 100 miles. So I'm going to be stopping shortly. Hey, everybody, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I-95 North in the state of Georgia. Heading to upstate New York to visit Mom. Got to take care of her for a week. And then I'll be at the island, my private island in the Thousand Islands, New York. So I thought I'd check in with you. Subscribe to the channel. Join the community of progress. No podcast recording today because I'm on the road. Not sure how many hours I'm going to do because I have my kitty with me. And so I don't like to go more than 8 or 9 hours. She holds her pee well. She's done it before. She's gone 10, 11, 12 hours. I looked it up. Cats can go quite a long time. But I don't like to do it more than 8, 9 hours. But she's in her carrying case, very quietly sleeping right now. Well, she's 19 years old, so they sleep most of the day anyways. All right, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Always good stuff, self-improvement, motivation, personal growth. And I said, hey, what can I do while I'm stuck in traffic here? And I figured it out. I could put my audiobook on. So I'm listening to an audiobook called Drown Proof by Andy Stumpf. Andy Stumpf? Andy Stumpf or Andy Stumpf? He was a Navy SEAL. And after becoming a SEAL, he got injured. Then he went back and he became a trainer for Navy SEALs. And so the book is really not about Hell Week or Navy SEAL training, but it's really about lessons learned and mental training that we can apply to ourselves right now for success. And I'll tell you what, I applied it while I was sitting in traffic. Instead of looking at the whole day, oh, I got 1,200 miles ahead of me, and now I'm not moving. No, I just wanted to get to the next mile. And then this traffic was not going to move. It was out of my control. But I could control putting on my audiobook, and I did. And it helped me eliminate all anxiety. I let it go. I felt it starting to rise as an hour and 20 went by. I was very patient, but after an hour and 20 minutes with zero traffic moving, then you got to start to wonder, holy shit, am I going to have to take a pee here and not get off? All lanes are not moving and I'm in the fast lane. But the exit came up and I moved to the right slowly. And so I made it off. And just as I made it off, went to the bathroom, and I saw on my app all traffic was open. So whatever the armed suspect had been doing, however they ended it, it was ended and we were back on our way. Hello, everybody. Hi to you too. Thanks for the high five. 6.5 hours into my journey here to upstate New York. Got started late today on purpose. Usually if I go up to the island in 2 days, let's say it's 1,300 miles, usually I get up at 4:35 a.m. and then I put in a good 700 the first day, and then I can do 600 the next day. But that's a long day. I mean, that's usually a 12-hour day with stops. So I'm going to take my time this time. I'm in no hurry. I'm about a week earlier than I normally go up to the island. Hey, I know people are jumping in and out of the shorts feed. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Join a community of progress. You deserve it. You got great things coming in your life. You have greatness within you, as Les Brown would say. Hey, every time I steal something, I give people credit. You have greatness within you, Les Brown would say. So I'm about a week ahead of when I normally go up to the island. And but I'm happy to go. It's been so damn hot. But you know what? I know I'm going into cold weather. Upstate New York has been 40s. We had a couple of 30s last week. And so I'm expecting maybe 40 to 50 when I get there on Friday. Probably going to get there Friday. I'm taking 3 days, 2 nights. It's 1,200 some miles. No problem. And then after I help Mom recover from her injury, I'm going to head to the island. The island's only a 3-hour drive, so it's 180 miles from my mom's house. So that'll be an easy day. On May 8th, when the boats get put into the water, and my plumber has been out to the island to open it up. And what he does is he puts the water pump in the river, makes sure all the systems are working, toilets are flushing, sinks are working, water pump is on, and then arrive, everything's ready. I'm ready to go. All I got to do is buy some groceries on the way. And when I park my car at the yacht club, get in my boat that my buddy, hey, thanks, Jordy. Jed, thanks for getting my boat sent on May 8th. Jump in the boat and on over the island. So if you haven't already, join me at the island. I'll be filming a lot, doing a podcast from the island. But I got another channel. That I'm going to be streaming on called The Island Life. Because I think it's a separate crowd. People that want to see boating, what it's like to live on a private island. And I let that channel kind of stay silent. I focused everything with you right here. You people who are higher achievers. You set the bar higher. You don't look at society and think, I'm gonna hold up to their standards. No, you set your own standards. And that's why I'm glad you're here. You're in the right place. Because every day in every way, we're getting better than we were yesterday. And that's the message that I like to give every day. And the message I got from my Navy SEAL buddy that I was listening to the audiobook was, no matter what the goal is or how big it is, chunk it down. That's how they got through Navy SEAL training. If they were thinking, oh my God, we got 72 hours left, we're going to be sitting in this cold water. No, I guess they got meals every 6 hours, he said. So his mentality was, I got to just get to the next meal. If I can get to the next meal every day, then eventually I'll get to the end of the week. And that's what he did. And that's a good way of looking at any goal you establish for yourself. Chunk it down to the next step. Get away from that big picture. Set the destination. You know where it is in your future. You know what it looks like. You got a vision. And then reverse engineer that shit back to my next step. Because guaranteed, you can take the next step. The next step is going to be very easy. Don't look at the big picture. I got to acknowledge you if I can. Hey, woohoo! What's up, Paul? Glad you're on here. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Bang that subscribe button. Don't be shy. Boom. Hit it with your fist. Subscribe. Hit that bell button. Leave a comment. Share it. Be aggressively positive. Radical positivity. Why go halfway? Why have 1 foot in? Punch negativity in the face. Boom. Because it's a choice between two things: discipline and regret. One weighs ounces and the other weighs a ton. And regret tastes like shit and it weighs a ton. Discipline doesn't weigh much and it gets habituated. It becomes a habit. Doing the next best thing becomes a habit. I love this author of this book, Drown Proof, Navy SEAL, because he talked about a horrendous divorce that he went through. And he said that was worse than any day as a Navy SEAL. Can you imagine that? He said that was worse than Hell Week, the 2 years of his divorce. And so I liked it because it hits home to me right now. And he said what he had to do was shrink his world down. Instead of looking at the big picture of what was happening, the negativity, he shrunk it down to this day, getting through to the end of this day, doing the next right thing, and then getting into tomorrow, and then repeating that over and over again. Next thing you know, a week's gone by, then a month, 6 months. Next thing you know, you're out of the tunnel, baby, and you're in sunshine. Because if you're in the winter of your life, one thing you can bank on, because look at the evidence of nature. Every single time for thousands of years, spring has followed winter. So if you're in the winter of your life, spring's coming. You might as well be excited. Oh man, shit's bad right now. It's frigid. It's a horrid winter that I'm in. But spring is coming. And once you know that, see, it's recognizing patterns. That's the secret to success and everything in life. It's the secret to happiness. Recognizing patterns so that you can anticipate. You're not behind the 8 ball reacting. You are anticipating what's going to happen next. So 2 things Tony Robbins said to do was recognize patterns and then apply your knowledge to the patterns. You have the knowledge. It's like planting. When the Pilgrims learned to plant, that wasn't enough. They had to recognize the pattern, because planting in winter would starve you to death. Planting in the spring would give you a harvest that would feed everybody, including your guests, the Indians. And then we would have Thanksgiving. That's the way it is. Recognizing patterns and applying your knowledge to those patterns. And that is the secret, everybody. Success in anything you want to do. Shrink it down, shrink those goals down, to chunk those down to the next thing that you have to do in the proper order. So easy. Now, if you want life fulfillment, now you got to start making progress towards a worthy goal. That gives you fulfillment. You may not even reach that goal. You may change your mind in midstream. I'm going in a different direction. But the fact that you had set a destination, you untied your sailboat from the dock and you got out in open water and you were making progress towards your goal, that leads to fulfillment. Making progress is the key. A sailboat sailing to a destination is a good metaphor for our life, and I'll tell you why. When you're sailing towards a port destination you've set, you charted the course, you know where it is, you know where you are, and now you've started. When you're sailing in that direction, the sailboat is 90% of the time off course, and you have to adjust. You're constantly veering back and forth towards your destination. You're hardly ever directly on the line. So it goes with our life in anything that we're pursuing. 90% of the time, we're going to be a little bit off. We just nudge back towards the right direction, As we move off the path, we nudge back on, but we're making progress in the right direction. You always got to make sure you're going in the right direction. If you're going from Los Angeles to New York and you're looking at the sunset, that's an indication you're going in the wrong direction. If you see the sunrise, well, I know I'm going in the right direction. And I'm just going to go the next 300 feet. Why do I say that? You got a pair of headlights on your car that will only light up 300 feet in front of your car. And yet, it will light your way all the way across the country from LA to New York, 3,000 miles. How does it do that? Because you only need to see the next 300 feet. And then when you get there, all you need is the next 300 feet. Take a lesson from your headlights and start moving in the right direction towards your goals. If you don't have any goals, time to set some exciting ones. And by the way, do not be reasonable in your goal setting or your ambitions. Do not be logical. Be unreasonable and illogical. If somebody looks at your goals, or you end up telling them about it, and they go, huh, that's a little bit outlandish. How do you think you expect to achieve that? You know you're on the right track. Make it something exciting, something that's crazy, and then reverse engineer it. Start taking those steps. Now, you may not go after that goal after a few days or years because you might change directions. But I'm telling you, shoot for the damn moon. You might hit another planet. So always shoot big. I've had a lot of great achievements in my life and a lot of failure, a lot of bad feedback. But you know what? The only regret I ever had was not setting bigger goals, not having bigger ambitions. Yeah, here's another thing that's very, very important. Don't share big ideas and your big ambitious goals with small-minded people. They can't see your vision. They're going to probably poo-poo it. They're going to say it's out of love and caring for you. What the hell's going on with these roads? They're so rough. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like, I guess they've tore them up. They're getting ready to repave them. It's louder than hell. Hopefully I'm going to come out of that soon. That's a good lesson. Do not share your big, ambitious goals with small-minded people. Sometimes those people are family and friends that are close to us. And you know what? Out of love and care for us, they don't want to see us hurt or disappointed. They may say, hey, wait a minute, wait. Why do you want to do that? You know, wow, your family is here. You got a great job here. You have a great reputation. You're making good money. Why do you want to go and do these things? I mean, you look at all you've done already. You know what? People don't know what God's put on your heart. They don't know what's on your heart to try to do. Doesn't mean you're going to be a success. Doesn't matter. You got to shoot that shot. You got to shoot that shot. You know what? You can do it. You got more confidence in your abilities and your commitment than you do on yourself. Because I've seen it happen. I get excited because I've done what I'm talking about. I've seen the results. And now I get excited about new goals, new ambitions. I get excited that I'm going to be coming out of a winter time in my life. Coming out of that tunnel. The sun is going to rise again. I have a lot to be thankful for. People have rallied around me. I have had friends and family. Support is there. People will be there for you. And it gets you excited about getting yourself back to 110% so you can be there for other people. Why? Because having a positive impact on somebody else, no greater joy. All right, everybody, I'm glad you're here. Subscribe to the channel. Bam! Hit that button. Be aggressive. Be aggressively positive. Our default mindset is negativity. And it's that way on purpose because our brain is set up to keep us alive. It wants to tell us, hey, you are in the cave and you're safe. Why do you have a vision to get out of the cave and go somewhere else? Stay where you're at. No. There's no more dinosaurs. We're not going to be eaten up. We can leave the cave and we can go after what we want to go after. And the pleasure is in the going after. You got to make sure you bake into your pie, bake the joy into the journey, not the destination. Don't bake joy into that goal of, I can't wait to start my book. Because then when you start your book, that joy is going to fade real quickly. But if you bake the joy in the end, I can't wait to finish my book and get it published. Now, every step along the way is going to be joyful. Every that you complete is going to just intensify. You're going to be building up. Don't start at the beginning. There's nothing left but going down. Bake the joy in the journey. Now it's when we reach some goals, we have some achievements, we really do need take the time, pop that champagne. You need to celebrate your wins. Celebrate even the small wins along the way. But a celebration in your wins and achievement doesn't last very long. It fades quickly. So 90% of that win and that achievement was in the journey. So bake the joy into the journey. And then 90% of your time is going to be joyful. All right? I'm on a journey right now to upstate New York. Started at 12:20 this afternoon. So I'm 6+ hours in. And I'm only going to do about another hour. So I'm just about at 300 miles. I should have been at 400 except for that traffic stoppage in St. Augustine. But you know what? I learned from the book that I'm listening. I'm chunking this big long trip down. Let me just get the next 5 miles. And then when I get to that 5 miles, I'm going to reassess and I'm going to get to the next 5. Eventually, I'm going to get to the last 5 miles of my trip and I'll be this part of my trip. It's been a glorious day, right? For even then, that was to reflect, put on my audiobook, and I actually took that time to do some thinking, stuck in 3 lanes of traffic, not moving. What a great gift. I asked a powerful question. What's good about this? What can I do with this stop traffic? I could put in my audiobook. At one point, I put my car in park, and then I called my buddy in California because it was safe to do so. Going 0 miles an hour, it was very safe to be on the phone inside my car. What I should have done is gone live and connected with you, everybody. I'm glad you're here. If you're just stumbling onto my channel, the Cliff Yates channel, listen, it's all positivity, self-improvement, personal growth. You know, how we can get better today, every way, than we were yesterday. And who doesn't want to do that? You know, we don't want to have our time eaten up too much with social media, getting sucked into too much negativity, news, people attacking other people. It's good to check in with the news. I think we should check in at least once a day, get updated on what's happening in world events locally. We don't want to be stupid, put our head in the sand, but we don't want to get sucked in down a rabbit hole of negativity. We got things to do. You and I have achievements to make, goals to achieve. We're ambitious. We got a lot of vigor. We got a lot of energy. Yes, I have 68 years gathered in this world. 68 years. However, energy-wise, vigor-wise, I'm only 29, everybody. I'm getting excited just thinking about that. One of my best videos lately, I'm surprised. One of my best videos. Hey, that's some deep shit, is right. I did a video the other day, men over 50. And I said during the beginning of that video, I don't like to niche down to talk to a certain group of people, but I said I was going to do it because a couple of people I followed, that's what they were doing. So I went into some of the things that I learned from my primal health coaching certification. Men over 50, what you should do. First of all, make sure you're doing these things. Get outside and move a lot throughout the day. I've always weight trained for the past 52 years, and it served me well. But I noticed what I was doing about 10 years ago. I was getting my workouts in, right? 45 minutes to an hour in the gym, and then I wasn't moving the rest of the day. I was sedentary. No, get your workout in. Go to the gym if you do, or do it at home, but move a lot throughout the day. Take a walk in the morning, take a walk in the afternoon. Especially if you can take a walk in the afternoon after your afternoon meal, you are going to be controlling your glucose level, and you're going to be keeping yourself insulin sensitive instead of insulin resistant. And that's really important for preventing diabetes and all sorts of other crazy stuff. So move a lot throughout the whole day. Get plenty of sunlight. Believe me, I got some skin cancers that were burned off. And my dermatologist even said, no, don't stay completely out of the sun, but wear sunscreen when you can. And if you can, limit your sun exposure to 10 or 15 minutes. So get plenty, especially in the morning. If you can get sunlight and that sunrise in the morning, that stimulates the serotonin in your body, and you're going to get energy for the day. And if you get sunlight in the afternoon, you get that gold yellow sunset. It's safer, and it starts to stimulate melatonin in your body, and now you're going to sleep better. So get plenty of sleep, limit that screen time at night, keep your room cold, dark, and don't eat or drink too much a couple hours before you go to bed. And then play at something, not for competitive reasons. Now, Mark Sisson, the guy who established the Primal Health Coach Institute, he does stand-up paddleboarding. He does, frisbee golf. And he rides his fat tire bike on the beach. This guy's ripped. He only eats 2 meals a day. I don't know. He keeps a lot of muscle on. I don't know how he does it. He's like 74 now. But so that's what you got to do. He believes in sprinting once every 7 to 10 days. I've been sprinting every week. And I tell you, I think sprinting is responsible for keeping my testosterone levels up. Last March, it was 709. December, it was 1,000. And I just had it done a month ago. Well, early April. And it was still 800. So I think sprinting had a lot to do with it. And also, my free testosterone doubled because I raised my protein grams. I tried to consciously get 180 to 200 grams of protein a day. It's not always that easy. But I did it, and I was able to gain muscle. All right, everybody, do those things. Not only that, eat nutrient-dense foods. That's all. You don't have to restrict yourself in your diet. If you just eat nutrient-dense foods, delicious-tasting foods, you're not going to be restricting yourself. Just stay away from the ultra-processed. Stay away from the sugars. And concentrate on nutrient-dense. Here's your approved list of foods you can eat. Meat, fish, fowl, eggs, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. You can make about a ton of recipes with that. Stay away from chemically altered oils. Stick with your olive oils, your coconut oil, your avocado oil, and that's it. And regular butter, no margarine. You really should stay away from breads. You're going to be surprised. The belly fat's going to go down. You're going to have energy, and you're going to be crazy motivated like me, Cliff Yates. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'm glad you're here, and thank you for the last 70 miles. I appreciate you being along for the ride. If you haven't already, bang that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. I'll check it out later when I get to the hotel. I'm about ready to shut it down, everybody. I'm only going to do 7 hours today, 7.5 hours. And then tomorrow, we'll do a good 10 hours. I don't like to go over 10 hours. I got the kitty with me. She's 19 years old. She's been doing these trips for so long. She's used to it, but I don't like to ever go too long without food, water, and the pee-pee. So I got to get her set up in the hotel. All right, everybody, I'm glad you stopped in here. You know I love you. I'll see you in the next video.